I'll know when to talk. It's not like I should introduce myself after you introduce
Oh,
yourself.
and I'll introduce you. And then,
Okay,
yeah.
okay, got it.
Yeah. So, I'm Brian, and we're in the Bosque Village overlooking Lake Pátzcuaro. It's an absolutely beautiful day, great lighting. The dogs are all tired out and resting around. But I got this guy here with me, and he's got a lot of energy. I'd like him to introduce himself. Who the hell are you?
I'm Jeremy Calvert. I'm a temporarily retired software engineer from Seattle. Moved out there in '96 to study math, and I've been doing software for like 20 years or something.
Wow, very cool. So you're a geek.
I'm a geek.
Awesome. Geeks rule.
Yeah, thanks.
Raw.
Think
Great. And you're here why?
so. In Mexico or at Bosque Village?
Well, what's your trip? You got a trip. You're
Okay,
on a trip.
I'm on a trip.
What's your trip?
Yeah, I'm
baby?
on a trip. I'm doing a bicycle tour. It's about 2 months in. I started in Colorado Springs, and I'm just biking my way south. My random goal destination is Bogota. Yeah, stopping in Bosque Village. Actually, Bosque was my only predetermined destination of the entire trip, and now I'm here, so that's something of an accomplishment, and I hope it's about halfway through the trip.
Well, I'm really thrilled to hear you here and have you here. It's a kind of remote area, maybe a good break.
I think it's the most remote I've been in Mexico.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. It was very nice getting here, but very adventuresome.
And I have been reading your blog. What's your blog?
It's jeremycalvert.wordpress.com. I think that's right. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's a blog I've been keeping since I started 2 months ago, and I've been keeping up with it mostly.
Yeah, no, I read your entries, and I was loving to read them as you came through.
Yeah.
Because I'm especially thrilled to hear when somebody comes through Mexico, because there's a lot of people who are like scared to go to Mexico or
Yeah,
something.
I was.
Yeah. Which, why wouldn't you be? It's
Right.
the
I
news are
heard
here and everything.
lots of people say lots of scary things.
Yeah. And, you're on your bike alone in a new country. And how's your Spanish?
Muy malo.
Tu español no está muy bien.
I studied 2 years in high school and haven't touched it since. So I'm on a 12-day streak on Duolingo, and it's pretty terrible though, but improving rapidly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we have gone to town together now, and I have been listening, and the guy's trying, which is great. And one of the great things about Mexican culture is that you get rewarded for any Spanish you learn. So just because you don't speak Spanish doesn't mean you can't come to Mexico. But you're doing especially difficult. Now, you came from Colorado.
Colorado to Utah to Arizona, and then I sort of dropped down straight through Arizona.
So this is not your first trip.
No, I did a 3-month tour in Europe last summer, Scandinavia, and then the Baltics, and then the Balkans.
And did most people, or some people speak English there?
It varied from country to country. Albania, very little, but Finland, everybody. So it ran the gamut.
So it ran the gamut.
Yeah,
but it wasn't quite the same as a Mexico adventure.
Not the same at all.
Yeah.
No, Mexico has been surprisingly just amazing. I think it's probably my favorite country so far, bar none. Not including the U.S. Just everything about it has just been.
Why? Tell me. I mean, I've read your journal, so I know. But
yeah, I mean the drivers are very respectful, except for 1 out of 20 bus drivers, which is is psychopathic or psychotic. I learned, for example, what hazard lights are for. Hazard lights aren't for just when you're double parking in a city. They're for when you see a bicyclist and you're going to slow down and you're going to swing wide. You turn on your hazard lights to let people in front of you and behind you know that you're going to do something slightly hazardous. And I've observed this, and then I notice them turn them off after they pass me, and it makes perfect sense. They're blinking lights that draw attention to yourself, and what better use than for giving a bicyclist a wide, respectful, very courteous, conscientious berth. And that extends to truck drivers as well. In contrast to the southwest of the U.S., where I would get buzzed deliberately and honked at and dieseled.
Really?
And yeah, I mean, not everyone, obviously.
Right.
The
but
vast
you
majority of
remember it
drivers.
when it happens.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be very many
Sticks out.
people to freak your shit out
Yeah.
when you're on a tiny little machine on a road.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
and the roads, and when you normalize by road conditions, it's even all the more so the case that Mexican drivers are conscientious about bicyclists, because the Mexican roads are generally more hazardous in the sense that they're windier and less well maintained and have less shoulders.
Right, so that would be my concern. And I cycled before when I was quite a bit younger, and I cycled down the Oregon coast, and it was wonderful. But the roads here in Mexico don't have a shoulder, and there's burrows and rocks in the road and things, and so.
Yeah.
But so far you haven't died.
Yeah, no
And,
close calls in Mexico either.
That's great. And the people, you found a generally positive response.
Yeah, no, I mean, I had this overwhelming sense when I first got here that everybody was cheering me on. Like, everybody would return my waves, my thumbs up, and they generally return in kind the gesture you give them. I find, like, if you give them a peace sign, get a peace sign back, thumbs up back. Even like all the way to a fist bump.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm rocking out in my headphones and I'll be passing a tractor driver. They'll just start rocking out too because that's what I'm doing. And it's been very, very warm. I think people are excited to see a foreigner doing something out of the ordinary in their country.
Yeah, well, I think that's very true because they know that some people, first of all, that's a very independent action to take, to be alone on a bike in a foreign country.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there is a lot of sympathy for that. A lot of guys in Mexico have traveled to the United States, and so they see that that's a brave action. So I'm happy you've gotten this really positive response.
Yeah.
I'm really thrilled. And I myself, living here, I've been here since 2004, and I've had overwhelmingly positive responses. I've driven on my van quite a bit, and every time I've had a road problem, all I get is help.
Yeah. Yeah, because everybody has them. Like it's more of a community, especially on byways and roads and stuff. It seems like, people aren't driving the newest models of cars, so people break down and people help each other out because it's going to happen to everybody eventually.
Yeah, and it's kind of like take care of other people, they'll take care of you.
Yeah.
Reciprocal generosity or something.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Now, I have met other bikers going through. I posted some. And seen others that are traveling through in groups often. Have you met other bicyclists on your trip?
In Mexico, actually, the day I got here was the only time that I ran into other bicyclists, and it was a couple going in the opposite direction. She was from Chile, and he is from France. And they've given me a bunch of leads on places to stay. I met a Bulgarian couple in Sedona, Arizona. I met a Swiss guy briefly somewhere in Colorado. And these are all going in the opposite direction. Obviously, you meet way more people going in the opposite direction than in the same direction.
Right, because you pass them, yeah.
Yeah. But it's been pretty sparse. It's like it's not a very well toward area and not very well toward season right now.
Yeah.
Though that's not quite true. Along the coast of mainland Mexico, it's pretty well toward.
Right, and you went to places with
year.
lots of gringos too.
Yeah, Sayulita is probably the highest gringo per capita place I've been in Mexico, and then followed by Puerto Vallarta, Mazatlan, Guadalajara, roughly in that order, I'd say.
Right. So the coast is. Yeah, that's one of the things I'd like to do is increase the tourism opportunities in Michoacan especially. Mm-hmm. We're in Michoacan right now. A great state, the Alma de Mexico, the soul of Mexico. It's got deserts and jungles and mountains, and it's got Morelia, a wonderful city, and of course the Bosque Village. So I'm really happy to help tell people that the places they can go here. And the weather's good. Oh, that's a question. Down on the coast, it sounds like it was kind of hot.
It was. Down the coast and in the Sonoran Desert in particular.
Right.
There's a period of time where I was pretty sure I was going to take a break from my tour to go back to Seattle and wait out the heat. But once I got actually to the coast and into more temperate areas, I realized that it's not that bad. With a little humidity, it's hot, but it's not that bad.
Well, also
and right here, I mean, Michigan is just it's beautiful. It's chilly at night. It's super refreshing. Like, this is the perfect climate right now.
Yeah, one of the reasons I moved up here is because of the climate.
Yeah.
And right now we're in almost July, at the end of June, so the rains have come. And if the rains didn't come, it would be too hot here.
Yeah.
But the rains come, and then they come in the afternoon, the nighttime. Everything becomes cool. It's really lovely.
Yeah.
Excellent. And so what's next for you in your trip?
From here, my next definite destination is Mexico City, where I'll spend at least 2 or 3 nights, maybe 4. And then, I don't know, I mean, Chiapas, Oaxaca, and then Guatemala and Honduras, another opportunity to be a little scared based on what I've heard. Apparently it's the highest murder rate in the world right now, but I think that's mostly infighting amongst gangs and stuff. And so just sort of onwards. The couple I met yesterday had not many good things to say about Central America, which was a little discouraging, but they were also kind of cynical in general. So I think I'll go in with, it's actually a good thing. Like, it'll temper my expectations, and then I'll just be delighted whatever I
That makes sense. And I think there's a good point to be made here, is that people, in a sense, create their own trip.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, things happen to you, and environment matters. But there are some people who go to a place and they don't have a good time, and other people have a wonderful time.
Yeah.
And it's them.
Yeah.
Their attitude.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the first people I met was this woman who I ended up doing this tour of the White Rim Road in Canyonlands with her family. And she pointed out that there's 2 kinds of fun, type 1 and type 2. Type 1 is like jet skiing or snowboarding or something that's obviously fun at the time, just because it's like, it's just obvious straight up fun. And type 2 fun is like kind of like trudging through mud in a jungle in Mexico and getting out the other side and then looking back on it and being like, holy shit, what a time that was. And it's not that fun at the time, but the mere fact that you endured and can look back on it, and it's not just because it's unpleasant at the time. You're like, while you're doing it, you're like, man, this is so, it's not great, but it's not horrible either. It's just like extreme, but not extreme like dirt biking and Red Bull or whatever. Just extreme. I don't know.
It's less known, maybe. It's less planned.
It's ill-considered.
And things happen to you a little bit.
Yeah.
Instead of you just consuming the experience.
And you roll with it. Yeah.
You roll with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
It's good stuff.
Yeah. And for the people that come here to the Bosque Village for longer periods of time, I like the idea that they don't always know what's going to happen, because the experience is really tailored to each person.
Yeah.
And I want them to actually have a difficult time. I don't want them to go to a resort here.
Yeah, yeah.
I want them to be scared at night because there's a sound of the coyotes.
Or chainsaws at 5 in the morning.
Or chainsaws at 5 in the morning. or that, a bat is in their cabana or something. I think that's wonderful. I love the way you're traveling. I have great respect for it.
Thanks.
And I'm happy to host you.
Yeah.
Because I want more people to come here and experience real Mexico. And I'm not going to criticize people who go to a resort.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I've done it.
People need what they need.
Yeah.
But
I like all the stuff. I mean, resorts are good sometimes, but this is also good.
Yeah. Well, awesome, man. Great. Pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you. And scene. Ah! Nailed it. And action.
Action, baby.
Really?
What's action? Yeah. So, I'd like you to join us for a moment. We're going to speak with this guy right here. He's come to visit the Bosque Village. I'm Brian from the Bosque Village. And let's start over. I don't like what I said.